All right, hi guys, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video and welcome to the last video of 2022. I hope you guys all have a really nice New Year's. So I thought it would be a good time to do a favorites, 2022 favorite brushes. These aren't necessarily new releases. These are just brushes that I got this year that I thought would be worth showcasing to you guys. So I'm going to be demoing them, and these are just face brushes. So I did my eye makeup, so I didn't have to talk about too many brushes. So I can do an eye makeup brush, an eye brush favorites another time if you guys are interested. All right, so I've done my base makeup, so foundation, concealer, and eye makeup. And so now I'm going to just finish off everything like the powder, my base powder makeup. And I have a lot of brushes that I discovered this year. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to try to weave in some I guess some things that I have planned for 2023. I'm going to be trying some new topics, and if you guys like them, please let me know in the comments, and that really helps me kind of figure out what to do going forward. Okay, so the first powder brush we're going to start with is the Hakuhodo G 5700. I got this before the price increase. It's a square shaped blue squirrel powder brush, and I've been using this nonstop, and I'll tell you, it's like most of the Hakuhodo squirrel hair brushes, it's very soft, and I've been using this a lot. I've washed it a lot, and it still is in great shape. So I'm just going to use a little bit of loose powder to powder my under eye area. And this is what I've been using it for the most, but it also is a nice highlighting brush. And I like using this type of brush to powder the under eye area because I have fine lines and texture, and if I heavily powder this area, it will start to look drier and older. So I really try to lightly powder this part, I mean most of my face, but especially this area. And that's where I have the concealer, so I want to make sure that is set really well. And then I am going to use, now I don't know if I would consider this a favorite, but it's worth looking into because it's still priced pretty fairly, and it's a really nice brush. It's the Hakuhodo GF2, and the reason I want to talk about this one is I've been really liking the limited edition Eihodo Makie brush that I got, but this is no longer available. But this one I feel is fairly similar. It's a similar length. It's just this one's round and the other one is pinched. And I'm just going to very, very lightly powder my face so that my blush and bronzer don't go on too patchy. So I've been using this by Terry Hydra powder, and this has been probably my favorite powder of the year, mainly because it doesn't make my skin look powdery. So I'll be powdering more at the end. I just want to very lightly set my foundation. And I would say this is my favorite type of hair to set and powder my face with because it's just the lightest application that you can get. Okay, so that's good for now. And then I'm going to be using some of my other powders after I put like my blush and bronzer and things like that. Okay, and so now we're going to do some powder blush, a bronzer. Also, I'm not going to be featuring the Hakuhodo mixed hair brushes just because I've gone over these so much and I don't want to be too redundant. And I have so many other brushes that I've discovered that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to skip the cream products for today. Mainly because I have this cool eye look, and I feel like when I put a little bit too much bronzer and when I put too much warmth and bronzing on my face, it just tends not to look very good. So I'm gonna just kind of lightly layer, my powder products today. And for the powder bronzer, I'm going to use the Chikuhodo T2. And I've been really, really liking this. It's a great alternative to the Hakuhodo mixed hair angled brushes, and it costs about half of the price. And it's got a big surface area, so it's also good if you're just beginning. And it provides a medium application, not really heavy, but not super light either. And this is how I use it. It's for days where I don't want to spend a lot of time, applying my bronzer. And for a goat hair brush, it's really good at not disrupting your base makeup. And I've been really liking the Dior Dior Forever powder products, especially this bronzer. It's in the shade Warm Bronze, the number 5, and I'm really, really liking this shade. It's like a perfect warm but not too warm bronzer shade. So starting next year, so I have a video that I'm working on. This one's going to take a little time to put together, but I'm Japanese American, and my mother is her family immigrated to California. So most of her, I would say, most of her family members that were alive during World War II either were sent to incarceration camps. So yeah, I'll go over some of that right now. So FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was a president during World War II, signed in 1942 Order 9066, and that allowed the government to incarcerate the Japanese Americans into 75 sites, or they called them internment camps, to kind of imprison them because they were seen as a threat to national security after the Pearl Harbor attacks. Now, that was not found to be the case, but this is just what happened. Over 125,000 people were sent to one of these camps, and they were spread all over the West as well as the South. And I have a family member that I interviewed not too long ago that was born in a camp in Arkansas. So it wasn't just areas near where they lived. They got sent on a train to areas way out there so that they wouldn't be seen. Areas like Arkansas, Montana, Utah. And I'm not talking about the cities. I'm talking about very desolate areas. So that is something that I'm working on. And so wait, let me turn this light on. While I'm talking, I am going to add this new Suku blush that I got. And this was on sale at Selfridges. I think it still might be, but I don't know if it's still available. And I used it yesterday, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's the Pure Color Blush in 137. I don't see the name here, but this was a limited edition blush, and it came with, it was released with another one. They both went on sale at Selfridges, so I'm a big fan of the Suku blushes. So naturally, I got this, and oh, I wanted to show you guys, I think I've demoed this before, but the Muragishi Sangyo My Sakura Blush Brush is one of my favorite brush purchases of this year. It allowed me to try this brand. It's a smaller brush house, but I would say most of the brushes that I bought from the Muragishi Sangyo brand have been outstanding, and they're still very reasonably priced. And I would say of the different face brushes, this is my favorite. I also have the face powder brush, a foundation brush, a smaller cheek brush, and I have at least one of their eye brushes, but this is the one that I use the most, and it's a completely round ferrule, domed. It's made of goat and squirrel hair, but it's dyed so you can't see them, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful brush to use with a pigmented blush, but it works with a non-pigmented. This one is not super pigmented, but I feel like anytime I use this brush, my blush just looks so natural and seamless, and it's so fast, you know. So these blushes have like an ombre, you know, look. I usually go for the middle part and start off with the lighter side and then go into the darker side. I mean, I don't know if that's how you're supposed to use it, but that's how I use it. So I'm like using the lighter side right here. And this color is so unique. It's a rosy shade, but it's got like some warmth to it. And this is like my new favorite blush right now. And I feel like it's very universal. I think if you're very fair or if you're on the tanner side, I think it'll be very nice. And if you have a cool undertone or a warm undertone, because this is like right in the middle. It's not like a super warm blush, but it's not like a cool blush. It's just amazing. I love Suku blushes. Of all their different products, I love their blushes the most. Okay, so we might add a little bit more later, but for now, I'm going to add a little bit of highlighter, and then I'm just going to go with one of my favorite, the Dior Luminizer in Coral Glow. And I've shown this brush before. I believe I got this right before the price increase. That's the Hakuhodo S113. I got the S series in the black style, and it's a fairly basic looking brush, but I really like it for highlighter. It's also nice for blush and for under eye powdering, but I'm going to use this for highlighter. It puts that highlighter on pretty intensely, but I really gravitate towards this brush for highlighter. And see how perfectly it goes with that blush. I'm going to kind of blend everything in towards the end, so I know it looks like a little strong right there, but that's kind of my style. I kind of go in heavily and then knowing that I'm going to blend it all at the end with some finishing powder. I'm going to actually do my mascara and put a little lipstick on off camera, and I'll come back. All right, I'm back, and I know I said I wasn't going to use this for the video, but I've been enjoying this brush so much, and it's not a favorite because it was limited edition and you no longer can get it, and it's also very new. But I'm going to just use it on one side of my face, and then I'll use a different brush that I feel like is the most similar that I have to this brush. That is the it's the Eihodo Maki RE20-2 powder brush. It's made of gray squirrel hair, and this brush is very impressive. And I'm not one to use finishing powder with a big fluffy soft brush like this, but I've been just testing it out, and I've been really loving the results. I'm going to use this on this side, and then I'm going to use the Eihodo GP1, which is, it's fairly similar, it's just the shape is different, but it's the same type of hairs. And this one, the GP1's a little bit thinner, but you can still get this one. I believe you can get it in the, this is the Sakura design. I think you can get it in the Peony design. And this is an amazing brush, but I just haven't used it much. But I'm going to show you guys the differences, and I'll see if there's a big difference. But I just washed it, so it got really fluffy. But I'm going to use it with the Fude Beauty Glowish Luminous Pressed Powder, and I have it in the shade 3 Light. And I heard some negative reviews about this powder, saying it was so so glowy, a little too glittery, and a little too luminous. But right now it's pretty dry, and so my skin is pretty dry. And so I've been really liking the results I've been getting with this because it doesn't make your skin look too matte. And I'll just show you guys how it looks. Yeah, and this brush picks up powder beautifully, very lightly. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Hourglass powder after, but I thought because this was a new product to my channel, I would just show it to you guys. And I love how it kind of like blends everything together without taking down the shine. And this brush just feels so heavenly to use. And I hate saying that because you can't get it, but there are other brushes on the market. I can list them down below that are still available, that are still reasonably priced, that I feel like you'll get the same results, and it's just as luxurious to use. Okay, so that's the Huda Beauty with the limited edition Maquillé brush, and then I'm going to use the non-limited edition powder brush with the same powder. That picked up a lot more. I'll just kind of lighten that up a little, and then try to get you guys in closer. So I try to focus it on the area where I have my blush and highlighter, just to kind of tone everything down and blend everything in. And one of the main reasons I've been liking using this for powder is that it doesn't lift your makeup. It might blend everything together, but it won't like take away. So see how like smoothing that is? Actually, I kind of like how it did it on this side. But see how it keeps the luminosity on your skin without adding too much shine. You know, I didn't want to create like a shiny look. I just wanted to maintain the luminosity that I worked so hard to put on, but at the same time set and smooth out my skin. And I've been really liking the results. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm 43, so I don't have like the smoothest skin, but I feel like it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks better now than it ever has. Okay, so that is the Huda Beauty Glowish powder, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the Hourglass to show you this brush. I'm going to use the GF2, Hokoto GF2, and this one is still available. It's a round ferrule, and these brushes are just such a joy to use as your last step, you know, just to, you know, just finish everything off. This is a step that I ignored for a long time, the finishing powder step, just because it's not like a huge difference, but you know, when it comes to makeup, it's the little things, like the little details that you pay attention to that can really elevate your makeup. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if it's translating, but I'm just really liking how I've been able to get my skin to look. And this didn't take too long. I hope it didn't seem like it, but before it would just take forever for me to get my powder products to look natural. And yeah, I would say if you haven't tried like one of these Hoda Maquillé brushes, they're some of the more reasonably priced 100% gray squirrel face brushes. A lot of companies are charging a really high amount, but I feel like so far Hokoto and Hoda they still produce these brushes at a, you know, not extraordinarily high price, and they're still very, very high quality. They're also very beautiful. And the same with the Hokoto. They have the Gold series. There's other ones too that are made of gray squirrel, and they're all really nice. So that's the GF2. This is one I think is probably one of the better ones from Hokoto. Yeah, I would say the Hakuhodo G5700 and the My Sakura cheek brush. These two are some of my most used brushes of this year. What else? I did want to mention the Koyudo Yoshiki brush because they announced their prices are going up. Koyudo prices are going up if they haven't already. I believe they go up next year. But their face brush is a really nice option if you're doing a final blend, if you're going in with your Hourglass ambient lighting powder and you want to just kind of, I guess, maybe lighten things up a little bit more. The Yoshiki face brush is amazing. It's also, you can also use it for foundation. It's just, it eats up a lot of product, so I don't use it for foundation, but it's a really great finishing brush, and I would say right now it's still reasonably priced, but yeah, I really hope they don't increase the prices too much, but I did want to mention this as a really nice buy. And the same with the cheek brush, the Yoshiki cheek brush. And if you want to maybe save more money on a brush like that, the Rephr 37 is a great option for finishing, for cream blush, cream bronzer. And this is my favorite Rephr brush of the year. So I wanted to mention the 37. Very, very versatile, fairly dense, not super dense. Also very sturdy and easy to clean. And I did want to mention the fact that in 2023, I am going to dedicating more time to the preparation of my videos so that I can do more research on the historical pieces that I have planned. But my intent isn't to like regurgitate information that you can already find on YouTube. And there's a lot of videos that you can watch about the Japanese internment during World War II. And I think it is important to know the facts that are readily available. But I do want to add my own personal family's story. So I've been conducting interviews, gathering information, photos, and I have a video that I will be putting out as soon as I can. And the person that I interviewed is my mother's cousin. So their mothers were sisters and they were American born. They were born in Southern California to Japanese born parents. So, but the ones that did stay in California for the most part were incarcerated. And he was born in 1942, shortly after his parents were sent to an internment camp in Arkansas. So he doesn't remember the experience, but he does know a lot of the little details from what his parents told him. And they were really, really fascinating details. Stuff like what the guards told them that was happening. They were told that they were being put into these incarceration camps to protect them from others. So they had automatic weapons and things like that, where we kind of know that wasn't the case. That wasn't the purpose of Order 9066. But I just thought, a lot of this information is through the generations, especially in my generation, a lot of this is being lost because we don't talk about it and we often don't record these things. But it's kind of part of what I'm doing, and it's what means a lot to me. These are things that interest me greatly, and I'm fascinated by it. I'm going to be getting that video up very, as fast as I can. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a really nice New Year's. I know in my family, New Year's is like the biggest holiday, so we will be going over to my parents' house, and my mom makes a traditional Japanese New Year's breakfast. And yeah, maybe I'll take some pictures and, you know, show them on my channel or on my Instagram page. But I'll be putting some close-ups on my Instagram if you guys want to see these brushes a little better. So yeah, so that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.